Hey, my name is Beverly Holloway, writer of the magazine Break Daily Bread. An editorial of current events from God's perspective. A couple of years ago, our first issue came out, our winter 2022 edition. And in that edition, an article called A Vote for Women. The road to the polls took a toll. Okay. And it was on the subject of abortion. Okay. Um, I wrote about abortion in a way I have not heard it talked about at all. Not on social media, not in the media, not in the news. It's definitely a fresh perspective. It's a way of striking a different conversation around abortion as opposed to who is for or against. I'll leave the link below for you to read at your convenience. It will take a few minutes to read it. It's lengthy, but definitely worth the read. I just wanted to share a few thoughts of what I wrote and hopes to shine a brighter light on the subject in that, or maybe just steer the conversation in a different direction, a direction in which God prefers us to be talking about this issue, right? It's not so much about who's for or against, but more so the root of the issue, the root of why women are having abortions. And we're talking about the average woman having an abortion because it's inconvenient. Um, where it stems from is sex at the end of the day, to put it plainly. Sex and the lack of education around sex. Um, it's not taught in a lot of our homes, it's not taught in school in its entirety, right? And a lot of the time, it's not taught in a church. Or if it is taught, it's more so, and this is hearsay because I didn't grow up in church, but from what I hear, um, people were told not to have sex until they were married, but not really given reasons why, not really told about just the safety the covenant of marriage is around sex. Um, so in the article, I start talking about, before even getting into sex, right? Let's just backtrack. Before I even talk about sex, I talk about spiritual abortion, right? Because if you think about a thing, it hap- in order for something to happen on the outside, in order for something to happen physically, it happens spiritually first. So I took it a step back and was like, okay, let's talk about spiritual abortion. And in this case, I talked about specifically things that we've aborted that we were supposed to do, right? Um, Business ventures we were supposed to start, books we were supposed to start, and maybe not even starting businesses, but just reading a book, right? Um, we'll get halfway through a book and put it down and not go back to it. Just simple things. It can range from something that's simple to something as big as um, starting school and not finishing it, right? You're aborting it, right? So you've got spiritual abortion in that way, in that you're not finishing what you started, right? So I talk a little bit about that first, and then I start talking about sex and how we can be changing this conversation around abortion so that our girls, our women, don't even have to be girls, just grown women don't necessarily have to resort to abortion as the first resort when they have an unplanned pregnancy, right? There's so many options out there. And one of the options is placing your child up for adoption. I read where there are millions of couples who are looking to adopt, yet only 4 to 5% of women with unplanned pregnancies um, end up placing their children up for adoption. So there are a few things that I believe should be brought to light, some conversations we should have in our community with our women, with our girls. Training, there should be some curriculum. But at least a conversation first. So thought I should put that out there, and if you have some time, go check that article out.